This video is part of a longer video called Making Money Online from Your Photos and Stories, which looks at a number of possibilities for making money online from your photos and stories. One thing to bear in mind about photo sharing sites like 500px and so on, and how they differ from stock photography sites, which nearly all major photo sharing sites now work in cooperation with, is that their business model is essentially not the same. Stock photography sites make money by selling for photographers, theoretically at least. And photo sharing sites make money selling to photographers. So, if you have an account with an image sharing site, you're probably going to have to get used to seeing constant attempts to upgrade your account to Pro or Premium. Berlin-based EyeEm boasts a few million more users than 500px, at least upwards of 18 million. Oh, and in case you're wondering, the 14.8 million 500px users who had their accounts hacked in 2018 was every single one of them. Like 500px, EyeEm partners with Getty Images, but additionally it also partners with Alamy. And like 500px, EyeEm was also hacked about 3 years ago, and its database was put up for sale. But in this case, the hackers were identified and arrested. So, this is what the site looks like. If you're looking for photos, you can browse from various categories. And as you can see, the prices you have to pay are very high. And if you're looking to start an account as a photographer, you go here. EyeEm is not strictly speaking a photo sharing website, and many people class it as a stock photography or microstock photography company. It actually falls somewhere between the two, but I would say that for most account holders it's primarily a photo sharing site. You upload your photo, someone may give you a like, you browse other people's photos and give likes to the ones that take your fancy, and so on. Most photos stand very little chance of ever selling, even for a couple of cents. Unlike most stock photography companies, which accept or reject photos based on quality, EyeEm accepts everything, but only for image sharing. If their artificial intelligence software deems an image good enough, it can be sold on the EyeEm marketplace. And if real people feel it is good enough, it can be sold through Alamy or Getty Images. Presumably these partners take EyeEm at its word, so your photos don't need to be reviewed yet again. On the surface, this seems like a very well thought out 3-tier system, and for the first few weeks that I had an account, I thought it was. Over the subsequent weeks, however, my liking for the site gradually wore very thin, and after a few months I had effectively abandoned it completely, although it was actually several years later that I succeeded in closing my account. Now you've seen how EyeEm works, let's take a look at how it doesn't work. A model release, as most photographers will already know, is a legal release typically signed by the subject of a photograph, granting permission to publish the photograph. It isn't needed for most photograph publication, but is needed where personality rights or privacy rights would otherwise be infringed. EyeEm's artificial intelligence software would identify such cases, and almost every time I submitted a batch of photos, there would be some pics requiring that I first get permission before those photos could be accepted for the EyeEm marketplace. Here's an example of some of the people I needed to get model releases for. Okay, I guess statues are understandable, but a container ship? And this was by no means unusual. I also had to get buildings, trees, plants, and even a motorcycle to sign model release forms, and it wasn't easy. So if you ever see someone begging an inanimate object to sign something, maybe they're not insane, but are just EyeEm photographers. Seriously though, having this problem occur so regularly was very irritating, because as you may have guessed, EyeEm is one of those companies that tries to run all its operations in software and doesn't want to know that it doesn't work. So each time I had to write to them and point out that the things in the photos were not people, and usually the response would be none too quick in coming. Incidentally, it was usually the same person who responded to any of my emails, so maybe they have just one help desk guy for over 18 million users, I don't know. By the end of 2021, I had already put most of my photos in the public domain, so I began manually delisting my photos from the EyeEm marketplace. But for those photos listed for sale with Getty Images or Alamy, I had to write to EyeEm to request their delisting. My first email received no reply. A few weeks later, I wrote again and received a reply asking which photo it was I wanted delisting. All of them, I replied. I was told my request had been processed, but I may not see the results immediately. So I assumed my photos had been delisted. When I found my account to be exactly the same as before many weeks later, and that my photos had not been taken off the partner listing, I decided to simply close my account. I went into my account settings, clicked to delete account, and was asked, "Do you really want to delete your account?" I clicked to confirm that I did, logged out, and assumed my account had been closed. A few weeks later, I found my account was still there, exactly the same as before. I wrote to EyeEm, and after some time I received a reply telling me I couldn't close my account because I had payments pending. Did I want to receive those payments so that my account could be closed? Yes, please. I received an email telling me I would get a payment from PayPal within 15 days. That was in June. Nearly 8 weeks later, in August, I had still received nothing from PayPal, and I noticed my account was still there, exactly the same as before. I checked and found that if someone wanted to buy a photo, they still could. I wrote back asking what had happened. EyeEm couldn't explain it. Did I want to close my account without receiving payment instead? Yes, please, just close my account. Finally, it was. So, to sum things up, I would not recommend starting an account with EyeEm, despite its strong points. It may be many years before its AI software is up to the job, and they simply do not invest enough in manpower. And if you do start an account, you may have a hell of a job closing it.